So I'm sure many of you have seen this new video by the game theorist called Game Theory: The End of an Era. It just came out yesterday and it's been trending pretty high. Now I've talked a lot about how YouTube has changed. It's become more corporate over the years. And in this video he basically talks about how we've gone through different phases of YouTube, and this era that we're in right now is much more of a professional setting. You know, we've kind of passed the age of people just talking in their rooms but bringing in a ton of views. It's a lot more of like big corporate teams and businesses making high quality production videos, making super long content that people will watch for a long time. And that whole era of making homemade, low-quality videos is kind of a thing of the past by now. And so I wanted to kind of expand onto a few things that he mentioned in this video. So it's kind of funny to think that back in like the late 2000s, just about anything could get popular on YouTube. You know, the standards were pretty low. Nobody had any high expectations of what they were going to see on YouTube. It was mostly just random junk videos around the internet. And then people started to actually put in some more effort and then make some commentary and talking to the camera. And then it went from there into making a lot more high quality stuff and putting together big productions. So let's try and figure out how we actually got to this point. I mean, obviously things are going to evolve over time, but I think that a big part of it is just that the longer YouTube goes on, the more people come to it and the more competition there is to actually produce videos. Now a lot of people will complain like, oh, the algorithm, it only supports these high production stuff or these long videos or whatever brings in watch time. But I think that it's also a lot to do with just what the viewers expect. Because like I said, back in the early days, people would just watch pretty much anything. They didn't really care. But now people are so used to seeing so many high production videos. And so if you're a channel like this, where you just sit and talk to the camera, there's not a whole lot of value to be given. And so stuff like this would probably be a lot more popular maybe 5 or 10 years ago. But today it's a lot harder to make it because people are a lot more used to these highly produced, edited masterpieces. And that's pretty much what YouTube wants to push too. I mean, even if you just open up the front page of YouTube on a fresh window, not signed in, you'll see that most of the stuff on there is like documentaries or very viral videos or like corporate news or something like that. And so over time the production quality on YouTube is just going to keep going higher and higher. Now if you are somebody who wants to be a creator on YouTube, this can be a bit of a scary thing. I mean, the whole question of is it harder to make it now than it was in the past is kind of a hard thing to answer, because if you are a quality YouTuber and you make really high quality and good videos that people want to watch, then you were pretty much guaranteed to have a huge channel with a lot of income. Whereas back in the day, it was kind of more luck-based. Like you would just have to hope that you got some eyes on your content. But I mean, today, from what I've seen, if you just make something really quality that people really want to click on and that people really want to watch, like it really doesn't matter what goes on with algorithmic changes and all that, because if people are really coming back to your content, then you're going to bring in a lot of success either way. But yeah, as creators, this means that you are going to be going up against a lot more competition, and you're going to have to be uploading a lot higher quality stuff because everybody else is uploading higher quality stuff, so if you're not, then people aren't going to watch you over them. And it also becomes more difficult to come up with video ideas because there's basically an hour-long documentary about any tiny little niche thing that you could ever possibly want to know about. I mean, even just the stuff that was really popular a few years ago, just like cash grab channels where you could upload compilations of stolen content. Like, even that kind of content is so saturated that it's going to be really hard to get anywhere with it. I mean, it really seems like as YouTube becomes more established and more solidified and more people come to it, all of the little shortcuts to success kind of get covered up. They kind of get wiped out. You know, it's going to be a lot harder to find that super easy channel to start and then just make a ton of money off of it. Like, people are just so much more used to watching high quality stuff now that that's pretty much what you're going to have to make. I mean, even for me, whenever I'm trying to think like, oh, what kind of channel should I start? Like, it's just so hard to start new channels because you either have to be very experienced or an expert at something and be able to share your knowledge on it, or you have to have a big budget to be able to do crazy big productions. I mean, to be able to make a huge YouTube channel with high production with lots of viewers, I mean, it's starting to get close to taking as much work as running like a high production TV show. And so for all the people who are just like trying to get started or just sitting in their bedrooms, you're like, I can't compete, like it's just too difficult now. But then something else that they mentioned in this video is that because YouTube is becoming so polished and, you know, so high quality and all that stuff, a lot of people who want to get started are probably going to start on TikTok instead. Because TikTok seems to be a much more like casual environment where young people can go and just upload whatever they feel like. It doesn't really need to be as high quality, and yet people can still get tons of views over there. So I don't know, I feel like it's only going to keep going in this direction. I know a lot of people aren't too happy about that. I mean, as a viewer, it can be more interesting because there's just more high quality stuff to watch, but at the same time, it's kind of condensing everything into a mold where every type of content has to be very family friendly and brand safe, and all professional. I mean, they're trying to turn it into regular TV. You're not going to have as much creator drama that you had a few years ago. You're not going to see many edgy channels or memes or humor going around anymore. Now, I am predicting that within maybe 10 or so years, YouTube will probably reach a point where you will have to sort of apply to have a channel on YouTube. You know, currently you have to apply to be monetized, and of course that's always still going to be a thing, but I think that they are going to raise the standards, raise the qualifications to be able to run a YouTube business, and one day you'll reach a point where you said, oh yeah, I used to run a YouTube channel, and people will be like, whoa, really? That seems as far-fetched as, oh, I used to run a TV channel. So yeah, I think that the barrier of entry to YouTube is only getting higher, and it's going to be more and more difficult to get anywhere with it. But I'm kind of curious to see what you guys think. I know that a lot of my viewers are very anti-censorship, which is pretty cool. I know that YouTube has really gone overboard the last few years of just like cracking down and deleting and banning whatever they don't like. And so I could definitely see YouTube just turning into the next TV. You know, they want to be taken more seriously and get a lot more ad money, so I mean, I can kind of understand why they want to go in this direction. I mean, it's just kind of crazy that in 15 years, YouTube went from that Wild West, odd little website off on the corner of the internet for mostly teenagers to upload silly stuff, now basically taking over all of online media. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will talk to you next time.